LG19 writes, serious question, will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interests of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares? Who cares? Why should you go die in a foreign land? You now have the benefit of 2020. You can see, think about those men and those women who died because they were pitched that they were serving their country because there were weapons of mass destruction, right? They were serving their country because the Taliban, they were serving their country, whatever. And these people gave up their lives. And ask yourselves, for what? And the answer to that question is for the elites. They're like toy soldiers. And I would have said a few weeks ago that Trump would never do that to you. He would never just throw you into an Israeli war. But right now, our planes are flying in the sky, and things are going nuclear. So I don't have that confidence anymore. And I'm comfortable with people being dishonorably discharged because the dishonor has come from our politicians. The dishonor has come from our politicians who routinely lie in our faces and are willing to let us die to serve their financial interests. So why don't they dishonorably discharge themselves from public office?
What happened to her? What happened to her, Nicole? That is shameful. That is shameful. That is more than questioning, is this the right path? Is President Trump on the right side of history? That is more there. That is shameful. That is terrible what she said there. What happened to her? What happened to these mannequins?
It's the anti-Semitism that she's always had. That's not new. This 12-day war gave her a platform.
President Trump isn't Jewish.
Right, but he is a friend of the Jewish people, right? He's Jewish adjacent. When Trump had nothing to do with Israel, Candace was rocking hard for him. Then she saw him with Bibi. Then him and Bibi started having conversations. And suddenly, she was getting a little iffy on Trump. But this is who she is. She's an anti-Semite, plain and simple. She does not like the Jewish people. She has no respect for the Jewish people. And honey, it's showing. It's showing every day. And now that he has definitively brought peace, she's backpedaling so fast there's a damn breeze. She's talking about, well, bookmark this tweet so when it all falls apart, you all can come back here and say you're sorry. Honey, ain't nobody coming back. Nobody coming back. If you're a fan of Candace Owens because of some of her other conservative takes, go with God. Again, you don't have to agree with everybody's everything. 80%, call it a win. But when it gets to a point where they choose their hate over supporting our nation, there's something wrong there.
Yeah, something wrong, Yana. I mean, she was calling. First, she questioned President Trump's resolve, questioned, his love for the country. She called him deranged. What has he done that's been deranged? Again, you can disagree with what you can question the what he's done, but does he deserve that? What has he done? He's been right. If you go through history, it's particularly about foreign policy. He was right about Iraq. He was right about Afghanistan. He was the only one on stage back when they was battling the establishment, Bushes and all of them, saying they were wrong about 9/11. He has been correct. And to do this,
I think Candace is a narcissist. She wants attention above everything. So when she came out as this Black conservative, she was very outspoken and she loved the attention that she was getting. And then she needed to, I guess, change up her message to continue to receive more and more attention. So she has to say these shocking things. She likes to outrage people because it's getting her, and she likes to present herself as this above everyone, super intelligent human being, which she is not. I mean, nobody, no one is perfect. Yes, people can have some strengths and weaknesses, and she puts herself as she has no weaknesses whatsoever. She's super smart and she knows everything best. She is the one who is deranged. And right now, what she said in that address to the public, that was anti-American. I would expect that from an immigrant, like a politician who, we're going to talk about some today. So someone who maybe is not, hasn't really fit into the American society, was not born here, or family is not from here, but from someone who was born here, and how she used to praise America. And now she went completely anti-American in that message. It's shameful.
Yeah. I mean, Tyrone, okay, I don't know if I'm going to go so far as calling her anti-Semitic, but I do feel like she does not like Jews. She has an issue with Jews. She has an issue with Israel. But what she said there, I mean, again, what Yana said, that was anti-American. And another thing, before I want to get your point on this, because initially when she came out, she was very critical of the Black community. I didn't actually have a problem with that because I felt like we need to be critical of our own. So she was out here calling out us, talking to us. She's a Black woman talking to us about changing how we vote, about changing how we act, the culture, all of it, calling out the Christian church, the Black church. Yes, do it because you are Black. We need to call out our community. But this thing on the Jews, I don't understand it. I really don't. What are your thoughts there?
I don't get it. I will say this. It's obvious she does not understand the ramifications of a dishonorable discharge.
Exactly.
And I sure hope no one listens to her who is in the military, because that would devastate the rest of their lives, basically. But it's funny. I've never paid attention to her. The first thing I listened to her on, I was on the tractor last week and I listened to one of her interviews with Harvey Weinstein. Okay, because it was a long form interview. I was going to be out there for a while. And I just left that with the impression that, wow, she is on the wrong side of everything. Okay. Defending this monster Weinstein, the path that she's taken, she's so focused on the Jewish people that she won't even entertain alternative theories. Like, I think Israel came along on this. I think the reason why Trump did this had more to do with strengthening the relationship with Saudi Arabia to maintain the petrodollar arrangement that we've had. That's what I think this had to do.
And that's major. You were talking about this on Soldiers of Finance, the petrodollar that we lost, correct?
And because they were going to start denominating oil sales in other currencies. He went over there, got a hero's welcome in Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Emirates. There was an attack. Iran attacked Saudi Arabia's oil fields in 2019, and Trump did not respond. And they interpreted that as a breach in the petrodollar security agreement. This restores that. Okay. Israel came along for the ride. Everybody's saying that we've, followed Israel, and this whole thing was planned to restore America's economic hegemony. Okay. And now you're going to have, because Trump and Salman talked about this, you're going to have the oil priced in dollars again. You might see some little fringe transactions with the yuan, but we're back as far as the dollar. And this action in Iran that we prosecuted restores that. She can't even think outside of the box long enough because she's so focused on whatever bias she has against the Jewish state.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Tyrone.